Untitled. Written by Feroluce. Read by koureads. Momozou is under no illusions as to what he's like. His head is a hive, all full of buzzing and biting things that sting when you get too close. Over the years, they had migrated down to his heart, where they made their second home, a place closely guarded. And he maybe wouldn't mind it so much if only the hives left him something in return, some honey for his tongue so that he could speak sweet words that sent people away. They never gave him anything, though, nothing but more noise than he can handle. He is silver-tongued, though. It's just not in the way that he wishes he was. It's a silver like a dagger's, made to cut and pierce and laced with poison. He can wield his words like a weapon, and it gets him what he wants. No one thinks to disarm him. They pull back and they part for him, and Momozou can continue to be alone. And it does hurt at first, but he's lived half his life being shoved away and knocked flat on his ass, and he's so goddamn tired of it. He's done. His spine aches with the repeated collisions. But he's good at this, and it gradually becomes an easy process, practiced and smooth. Parry, thrust, straight through the heart. No survivors. Really, it's a kindness in the end. It's easier to do this between strangers than it is to wait for a friend to finally do it to him. And it always happens eventually, because Momozou is under no illusions as to what he's like. He wonders, sometimes, what he could have been like without his powers. He wonders where they begin and where he ends. Maybe there's not a difference anymore. Maybe there never was. He finds the telepathy club, and just for a moment the stinging things settle, and Momozou thinks that he's found his people. He hasn't, though. Of course he hasn't. And it's easier than ever for him to swing his blade, all bitterness and misplaced malice. None of them look at him in the hallways anymore. No survivors. Momozou gets used to the taste of venom in his mouth. Momozou is used to the taste of venom in his mouth. But Ritsu never begrudges him this, because Ritsu has already poisoned his own well enough that he can't drink without burning his throat. And he doesn't even seem to remember how it got that way. It was just a too slow process over too many years to notice until his tongue was suddenly scalded. Momozou hurls his sword, for no reason other than it's what he's always done. And it lands, and it hits home, but it doesn't hurt, because in the end it's nothing Ritsu hasn't already done to himself or to someone else. He's been dissolving from the inside out for long enough that nothing Momozou does even seems to register. He survives. So he curiously nudges up just a little closer, for just a peek, he tells himself. And then another one, and just one more, and just one more, until Ritsu's presence becomes a constant. He's immune to everything Momozou is. They're both built out of the same stuff. The only difference is Ritsu had figured out how to cover his up. He has layers and layers of rugs thrown over his rotted wooden floors. There's honey on the silver of his tongue to dilute out the venom. He can switch between the two seamlessly, in a way that Momo envies. And when he gets a little closer, because he somehow finds himself always getting closer, 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 he finds that Ritsu's eyes only look plain and brown from afar. Without so much distance between them, his irises are dark and crimson. He can see in them where he's burned himself out. He's down to smouldering embers and black soot. And Ritsu tells him that up close, his green eyes suit him. Jade, jaded. They complement Ritsu's red. They cancel each other out. None of it is said with even an ounce of accusation. It's only a statement of fact. It's an acceptance. Because neither of them are under any illusions as to what they are like. Ritsu warns Momozou that he might get poisoned. Momozou warns Ritsu of the same. Neither of them heeds the other, and the venom on their lips combined must make something like cyanide, because it leaves Momozou breathless. The end.